And it's so easy to get caught up in the drama and go down those rabbit holes of what's going on in our world today. But I see opportunity. I choose to see and stay focused on what's in front of me and the assignment that I have. What you see is what you get. I talk about my good friend that I coached in real estate. He was in corporate America, hated his job, and came to me to get coached on how to be successful in investing in real estate. And in our first call that we had together, all he could talk about was how he hated his job. He hated it. He hated his job. That's one of the reasons that he wanted me to coach him, so that he could leave that job that he hated and become successful in real estate. I remember 24 hours after that first call that he called me up in a panic because he had lost his job. He had lost his job. He had been laid off. And he was in tears, a grown man in tears, because he had lost that job. And I said, wait a minute, I'm confused. I'm honestly confused. 24 hours ago, you were on the phone with me, and you couldn't talk a word of good about this job. You talked about how you hated that job. And now it is 24 hours later, you don't have it, and now you're calling me up in tears going, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? Well, I thought you were going to be successful in real estate. This man, in that moment in time, in that destiny moment in time, all he could see was failure. All he could see was financial ruin at that moment in time, where all I could see was opportunity. I could see an opportunity for him to activate his God-given dream. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. Do you see the chaos, or do you see the opportunity? The third key that I want to talk to you about is you got to take the action. You've got to take the action. When God inspires you with a dream, you've got to take the action. The quicker you can activate that God-given dream, the quicker you're going to monetize it and make money with it. Why is that? Because the longer that you take, the longer you have to talk yourself out of taking the action. You've got to take the action, whether that is registering a domain name. Something as simple as registering a domain name. That takes less than $20 to do. Register the domain name for your business. Take the action. The way God works, it's very simple. God doesn't give us a blueprint. God gives us one step at a time. One step at a time. And once we honor God and we take that first step, then and only then will God give you the second step. But the problem today is that most Christians, when they get a God-given dream, they want the entire blueprint given to them up front. God doesn't work that way. God doesn't operate and give you the entire blueprint along the way. Why would he waste his time in doing that? What God is going to do is see if you're obedient in taking that first step. You've got to take the first step. You've got to do something to activate that God-given dream. And when you do, and you take that step, then and only then will the second step be given to you, and then the third step, and the fourth step along the way. Talking about this activating your God-given dream. A farmer does it. A farmer prepares the land. He prepares the land for his harvest. He then plants the seed. And then in the fall, he goes out in the combines and he brings the harvest in. So many faith-based people, what they'll do is they'll plant the seed. You can't turn on television, faith-based television, and not learn about planting a seed today. You can't. It's all over faith-based television about planting a seed. But how many people are teaching you how to get the harvest? Right? Because what people are taught today is get a vision board, decree your harvest. Decree your harvest. Get a vision board for a harvest. Pray for your harvest. What about taking the action? What about that step? How about you get up right now and you activate that God-given dream and you bring in your harvest. You bring in your harvest. Too much teaching on the seed time. How about bringing in the harvest? How about bringing in that harvest? Too many people have a mailbox millionaire mentality. I'm going to plant the seed. I'm going to plant that seed, and then, and only then, I'm going to go out to the mailbox. I'm going to wait for $1 million to come in my account. That's a mailbox millionaire. That is a mailbox millionaire. Well, here's the truth for you. Here's a reality check. God doesn't have any banks up in heaven. God is not going to send you a check, a 6 or 7-figure check in the mail. That's not going to happen. What God is going to do, my brother and sister, is give you a 6 or 7-figure dream for you to activate and do something with. He's going to trust you with a 6 or 7-figure dream. He's not going to send you a check. There are no banks in heaven. He's not going to do that. You've got to take the action. If this has motivated you and this has inspired you and you've got that God-given dream, you've got an obligation. Where there's inspiration, there's obligation. If this has inspired you, then you have an obligation to do something. You've got to take the step. You don't sit back and visualize a harvest. You've got to get out and get your harvest. You've got to say, I refuse to be denied. And that comes back to my first key about commitment. That's your launching pad of miracles, ladies and gentlemen, is your commitment. You've got to be committed to this process, committed to getting the harvest in. Well, TC, how do I get the harvest in? Well, that's where you put the time in. That's where you put the time in to learn marketing, learn business principles. You put your time in and learn your craft. And as I talked about in another series about focusing in on one thing. One thing. Become an expert in one thing. I challenge you right now to become an expert in one thing and be committed to achieving expert level status within 3 years and see how your life will change dramatically. Dramatically. Don't sit back in your lazy boy recliner and wait for God to send you money in the mail. That's not going to happen. It's not how God operates. I want you to take the action. One of the actions I want you to do is I want you to go, if you've been inspired, if you've been motivated by this series, by any of our shows, I want you to reach out at godmademillionaire.com and become a part of our community. Hit us up on the socials. We're on the socials. Hit us up and tell us how committed that you are. And I promise you, if you'll put this into action, if you become committed, if you watch what you see, if you watch that, your vision, protect that vision at all costs, you're going to see your life profoundly change right now, and right now. This is TC Bradley. I thank you for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you next time into the vault. Hey everybody, TC Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, and I'm honored and privileged to host the hottest show on TV, where each and every week we feature God's people, faith-based entrepreneurs and leaders activating their God-given dream right before your very eyes. I want to encourage you that if you're somebody that God has given a God-given dream, I invite you to come on our set and activate your God-given dreams. Book a call with our producers and walk in your destiny. Hey everybody, Welcome back to another episode, a special episode of God Made Millionaire TV, Into the Vault, where I take some time and spend some time with you and talk about some steps that are very important for you to activate your God-given dreams. You know, I'm convinced that there are times in your life where the clouds part and you get divine inspiration, and you know that you've heard from God, and that you've been called to do something. And there are some things that happen in your life that thwart those plans. I'm talking about in one moment, you can hear from God. The clouds part, the angels sing, and the next moment, the next day, you're like, challenging it. Did I really hear from God? I think it's important that you understand a couple of concepts and precepts when it comes to activating your God-given dream. Number one, you never want to allow anyone to talk you out of your dream. You have to realize that God-given dreams, by their very nature, are not realistic in nature. They are not realistic. When God has given you a dream and He's planted that within your heart, that's not something that should be realistic. Oftentimes, if you can figure out a way of how that God-given dream is going to happen, chances are, ladies and gentlemen, that's not a God-given dream, because God is a big dreamer. He's going to give you something so big to do that you could never figure it out how to do it on your own without His intervention and without His help and without His wisdom that He would download into you. So you have to realize that by nature, a God-given dream is not realistic. And so when you get this revelation, this divine revelation, it's happened to all of us. We know that we've heard from God, and we know we've been called to do something, and then we share that dream with a loved one. We share that dream with somebody that's close to us, and they tell you, you have to be realistic. You have to be realistic. Well, that's contrary to what a God-given dream is. Or they remind you of your past. They remind you of your failures, the things that you have failed at. And so what will happen is that little fat man gets up on your shoulder and whispers in your ear going, well, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Years ago, I had a real estate course where I taught people how to invest in real estate. And I was contacted by a woman, and she was so excited about learning how to invest in real estate. And she felt that this was one of those moments that was a divine appointment for her. And she ordered everything that I had in my library to assist and empower her to really activate her God-given dream. She was a powerhouse, I tell you. Within 24 hours, I get an email the next day, and she's destroyed. She's destroyed. And I said, wait a minute. What happened to this powerhouse woman that I spoke to last night that is going to just refuse to be denied, and this is your dream and you're going to make it happen? Well, she went to her mother. She took that dream to her mother, and her mother said, who do you think you are? With your past? With your past? You think you're going to be successful? Your past, ladies and gentlemen, does not equal your future. She went to her mother, and in that instant, her mother just took a pin and popped that balloon. Deflated her. Deflated her. She had a decision to make, just like you have a decision to make. You have a decision to make whether or not you're going to activate your God-given dream, or you're going to allow your past to equal your future. Your past doesn't equal your future, but you have to realize this, that when you're given that dream, God did not give that dream to anybody else but you. They can't see what you see. Stop expecting people to see what you see. God gave you the dream. He didn't give them the dream. He called you to do this assignment. He didn't call somebody else. Stop looking for approval for a God-given dream. Your God-given dream comes pre-approved. And if you're ever going to activate your God-given dream, if you're ever going to activate that God-given dream, you're going to have to not pay attention to the naysayers. You have to tune those people out. You're going to have to tune out the people that are busted, disgusted, and can't be trusted, yet they want to tell you about how you can't be successful. There comes a time where you got to make a statement. Make a statement. You know, ladies and gentlemen, God Made Millionaire, the term, our company owns 2 federal trademarks for the term God Made Millionaire. And one of the things that I did is we created a clothing line for God Made Millionaire because I believe in making a statement. I wear my decree with my God Made Millionaire t-shirts. And once I got the federal trademark, I actually contacted and reached out to one of the largest Christian t-shirt manufacturers in the United States of America. And I reached out and I said, hey, are you interested in doing a license deal? I have the federal trademark for the term God Made Millionaire. Are you interested in doing a trademark? It would be a great license deal. I was shocked when the owner of this company contacted me back and he said to me, I'm not interested in that. He said, to be honest with you, he said, how many Christians, listen to me, how many Christians are millionaires and how many of them would actually wear a t-shirt named God Made Millionaire? How many would do that? Now see, this is before we had a nationally syndicated television show. I was stunned at the ignorance of that response. I saved that email. I saved that email because I believe in making a statement. See, I reached out to that man and his company before we had a nationally syndicated television show. In answer to his question or his email, the term has nothing to do with getting there first and then wearing the shirt. You're wearing the most powerful decree that you could ever have. You are making a statement, baby, when you wear your God Made Millionaire shirt. But I will tell you, you can't be wearing your God Made Millionaire t-shirt and be mean-mugging people in the grocery store. I was in the grocery store wearing my God Made Millionaire shirt, and this lady was off in the distance, and I looked over at her, and she's looking at me. She's looking at me and studying me, and so I'm mean-mugging her. I'm mad-dogging her right there in the Publix, and I'm like, what is her malfunction? And she's looking, and she's looking, and she's looking, and she says, oh, I apologize for staring. She said, I love your shirt. I said, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I told my wife, Vicki, when I got home what had happened. She said, you can't be mean to people at Publix wearing a God Made Millionaire t-shirt, TC. You just can't do that. So if you get our God Made Millionaire shirt, understand it's one of the most powerful decrees you're ever going to have. Now understand this. It matters not to me whether people get the shirt, right? I'm not pitching you a shirt. I make these shirts, and I had them designed specifically for me to wear. Now, I just share that with everybody that believes like I believe, that that is a decree. I'm not just decreeing things with my mouth. When I wear my God Made Millionaire shirt, I am making one of the most powerful statements that I can have. And if you're a faith-based entrepreneur, listen to me, and you don't have a God Made Millionaire shirt, you're missing the boat. You're missing the bus. You got to get you a God Made Millionaire t-shirt, and you got to represent these colors. It is important for you to do. As I shared with you, I'm all about making a statement. I'm all about that, making a statement. And as some of you know, in 2012, I had a sudden cardiac arrest where I was clinically dead for 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in an ambulance when it occurred, and they shocked me 2 times to bring me back to life. And I recovered. I was at the shopping center one day. There it was. There was the ambulance that I died in. I walked up to that ambulance and I knocked on the side of it. Bam! 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 Knocked on the side of it. And I said, I'm still here. I let the enemy know, I'm still here. I'm still standing. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in your life, you've got to say, enough is enough. I'll not live in lack anymore. I'm not going to live in sickness anymore. I'm not going to live in a broken, fractured relationship anymore. Sometimes, folks, you've got to make a statement. You've got to make that statement. This is your day. If you're watching this right now, I believe that God has ordained this moment for you. Yes, you. I'm not talking about your neighbor. I'm not talking about that person next to you. I'm talking to you. This is your moment. This is your opportunity to make a statement that will alter the course of your life. But you've got to do it now. Wealth is attracted to speed. Wealth has always been attracted to speed. What do you mean by that, TC? The quicker that clouds part and you receive that divine inspiration and you take the action, the quicker you're going to activate that destiny that God has on your life. Why is that? Well, the minute you make that decision, you allow that little fat man to hop up there and whisper in your ear. You don't think this is for you. Who are you to think that you could become a God-made millionaire? Who do you think you are thinking that you could be that successful? Who do I think you are? I think you're chosen by God. I think you have a prophetic mandate on your life, or you wouldn't be here right now. I believe in you. I thank you for showing up on our show today, and I invite you to visit us at our website, godmademillionaire.com, and reach out to us and give us a call. Give us your testimony. If you're one of those few that have activated your God-given dream, let us know who you are. Visit us at godmademillionaire.com. Hey everybody, hope you're enjoying this special edition of Into the Vault. I've got another special edition, powerful teaching lined up for you, ready to go. But as that's getting queued up, I want to encourage you, if you're somebody that needs prayer right now, I want you to encourage you to contact us down below. Listen, I don't have holy water to send to you. I don't have a prayer cloth, but what I do have is a belief in our God's ability to do miracles on your behalf. I also want to encourage you, if you're somebody that's activated your God-given dream, or you're somebody that hasn't activated your God-given dream, join our community at godmademillionaire.com. Visit our site. We've got training resources, publishing programs, media programs, coaching programs, partner programs. It's all there for you to equip and empower you to activate your God-given dream. So visit godmademillionaire.com. And now, without any further ado, let's go into the vault one more time. Everybody, welcome back to another edition, special edition of God Made Millionaire TV, Inside the Vault, where I break down some strategies and insights and inspiration to help you activate your God-given dreams. You know, ladies and gentlemen, one of the bedrock principles of success in activating a God-given dream, I believe, is the principle of commitment. I believe that when a man or a woman is committed to their God-given dreams, when you are stone cold committed to your God-given dreams, I believe that the heavens part, and I believe that's when you get divine inspiration. It doesn't happen if you're wishy-washy, if you're putting your foot in the water, if you're going to try and do something. When God has given you a God-given dream, That is not something that you try and do. It is something that you are committed to doing in that process, no matter what. A lot of people's definitions of commitment vary, but my definition is when you are committed to that process, you are committed to seeing that through no matter what. No matter what. There's no out. There's no plan B. You only have plan A, and you're going to put the blinders on, and you're going to make that happen. I believe that the forces of the heavens conspire on our behalf when we are committed to the process. So many people activate a dream, and they're not committed to their God-given dreams. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. When we launched this nationally syndicated television show, 4 months into this process, 4 months into producing our show, the global pandemic occurred. That global pandemic occurred, shut down production for the month. I was given an option to shut down production for the rest of the year. I was given that option, and I refused that option. Why? Why did I refuse that option? It's because I was committed to this dream. I was committed. Your commitment will take you where your talent could never take you, ladies and gentlemen. Your commitment to that process can take you to where your talent can only dream of taking you. I was committed to this show. Here we are wrapping up our 3rd successful season of God Made Millionaire TV. Why is that? It's because I'm the most talented host? No, I'm not the most talented host. It's because I'm committed to this process. And I'm here to tell you that that commitment is the launch pad of miracles in your life. Once you are committed to that process, and I would recommend, and I would strongly recommend, that you don't activate a God-given dream unless you are committed to that process. Because once you are, that's when the forces of heaven conspire on your part, and doors begin to open for you. Opportunities present themselves to you that normally wouldn't even present themselves to you at that time. I want to talk a little bit about what you see is what you get. And this is a key principle of activating your God-given dream, your vision. Your vision. So many people can only see what's in front of them. They can only see in the natural. You can't see in the supernatural what God is doing. Your faith eyes can see what others can't see. And you've got to realize that when God gives you a dream, when He's given that dream to you, not everyone's going to be able to see what you see. Not everyone's going to be able to see it. God didn't give it to everybody else. He gave it to you to activate and to do something with your God-given dream. So vision is very, very important. What you see is what you get. Now, understand.